The following podcast is sponsored by Synchrony Financial. Because ambitions live everywhere, Synchrony Financial has the payment tools and technologies, promotional financing, and insights to help you achieve whatever you're working forward to. Learn more at synchronyfinancial.com. Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hello, and welcome to episode 98 of Total Retail Talks. I'm Joe Keenan, Executive Editor of Total Retail. Today I'm joined by Laura Phillips, Senior Vice President of Sustainability at Wal-Mart. We're going to be talking about Wal-Mart's new supplier sustainability platform, Project Gigaton. Thanks for joining me today, Laura.
Hi, Joe. Thanks for having me on. It's great to be here with you.
So let's start with you telling us a little bit about Project Gigaton. Maybe you can go into the goals of the project, who you've involved, kind of some background for our audience.
Yeah, that'd be great. So, Joe, I would tell you this idea really started for us last year. We were working on our new goals around sustainability. We've done work in sustainability here at Wal-Mart for about 10 years, and we've started our work with 3 big ambitious goals: getting to 100% renewable energy, creating zero waste, and selling products that sustain people and the environment. And we've worked hard against those goals for the last 10 years. And we were looking to update those goals, and we did update those goals last fall and talked about how we're going to take an emissions target that is a science-based target and aim to reduce emissions in our own operations by about 18% by 2025 and get to 50% renewable energy. And then in our supply chain, we did the math and we realized that the opportunity we had was to remove a gigaton of emissions out of our supply chains. And so we talked about that a little bit last fall when we announced our new goals. And for the last several months, we've been doing the work on, what is it really going to take to get a gigaton of emissions out? And so last week, we convened our suppliers, many of our stakeholders here in Bentonville, Arkansas, and we announced Project Gigaton, which is a program and a platform to do just that. It's intended to really help enable and equip our suppliers to work with us across a few core areas of focus to remove a gigaton of emissions, a way that people can understand it. So it's equivalent to about 200 million average passenger vehicles coming off the road for a year.
So you mentioned that you brought your suppliers together to make this announcement. I'm interested in the feedback that you got. Obviously, this is a corporate goal of Walmart's. How do you get the kind of investment and get the buy-in from your suppliers with this Project Gigaton?
Well, I would tell you, again, in sustainability, we've been working with our suppliers for about 10 years across a range of different areas and of different focuses. And we've seen really great progress with our suppliers. And together, we know as a retailer, we really don't make anything. And so we work with our suppliers to really create new, great, innovative products and to bring them to market in ways that really help enhance sustainability. And in fact, we highlighted some of those great examples at the meeting last week where suppliers are doing just that. And they've been working in this area, and they're excited about partnering with Walmart to really continue the efforts. There's a handful of areas that we've identified that together Walmart and our suppliers can really amplify our efforts around Project Gigaton. One is on energy, which, think about energy efficiency in our factories, in supplier warehouses. That's a big one. Waste. So we challenged our suppliers to set their own zero waste goals or work on food waste. Packaging is an area where we can work together with our suppliers to really enhance recyclability and to tell customers about that and work on recycled content. We also want to work with our suppliers more on deforestation and natural resources, as well as thinking about with consumers how they use the product and how we can help consumers, in fact, save money from more energy efficient products. So across those pillars of Gigaton, all of those provide great areas for Walmart to collaborate with our suppliers to really bring about positive change. And the suppliers are excited about working with us to really amplify their efforts in these areas and provide a platform for us to work together.
So I know the first couple of questions have been specific to Project Gigaton, but you did mention that Walmart has sort of been, heavily involved in this area of sustainability for, 10 years or so. So then my question is why is sustainability such an important consideration for Walmart? both within its own operations as well as we've talked about, the suppliers and partners that it works with?
Yeah, I think, as you mentioned, we've worked on sustainability for the last 10 years. And what we've learned through our efforts is that this is really great for our business, and it's good for the environment. And so we call that kind of shared value. And we've been talking more and more about that recently here within our business and within our stakeholders. And this concept that, in fact, comes from Dr. Michael Porter at Harvard Business School around how can we do just that? How can we work on these programs together that are good for our suppliers' business, help them to reduce costs and improve surety of supply, good for our business, but also have environmental benefit, and broadly speaking, are good for people. People in our communities, people throughout our supply chains. All of this is also really serves as a way to engage with people as well.
So in addition to Project Gigaton, what are some of the other sustainability initiatives that Wal-Mart has implemented? Obviously, with such an extensive physical presence around the country, energy is, as you mentioned, is a major priority. But can you talk about some of the other sustainability projects that the company has ongoing?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So within our own operations, we focus on energy efficiency, renewable energy, and getting to zero waste. And so a few examples in the U.S. just that we announced in the last week or so in terms of achievements that we've made in sustainability. We have just surpassed, we're about 26% now supplied by renewable energy, so just surpassed that 25% mark last year. We've also worked really hard on energy efficiency, and we continue to make strides in that area. As well as within waste, we're diverting about 82% of our waste in the U.S. from landfill now. And so we have a little bit more to go to get to zero, but we've made a lot of progress within our own operations on areas and energy and waste. We also lead in solar. We have about 350 stores with on-site solar here in the U.S., and that's a key program for us. And then within our products and our supply chains, we're doing a lot of work with our suppliers. One tool that we've launched several years ago, we call the Sustainability Index. And we survey our suppliers and look at environmental impact across product categories and talk with our suppliers about those hot spots and areas of focus for us to work together to really enhance sustainability within product categories. We've just reached about 70% of our sales volume in the U.S. at Walmart and Sam's is now measured and covered by that index. And that's been a great tool for us to really engage with our buyers, with our suppliers on where we can work and where we can really work to make progress and improvement within our product chains.
So you mentioned, obviously, the benefits that not only the communities where Walmart has stores, but the overall benefit of the good that you're doing for the environment. I'm also interested in the business benefits that Walmart has already realized and hopes to in the future from some of these sustainable practices.
So as I mentioned, we have seen a lot of great business benefits since we've been working on sustainability. A few to mention within our own operations would be the work we're doing around energy efficiency. We've been able to save a lot of money with our efforts in energy efficiency as well as renewable energy. One we like to talk about is the work we've done with our fleet. And we set a goal to double our fleet efficiency. We achieved that goal in 2015. We set it in 2005. And that work has allowed us to save over $1 billion in expense, fuel expense, which is a big number. And so that's kind of one example in terms of efficiency. We also know that this work is important to our customer. And so that's important to us. And customers more and more want to know where the product is coming from, how it's made. They want to know, when they're shopping with retailers, that retailers, values aligned with theirs. And so we also know that this matters to our customers and are working hard to make sure that we can meet their expectations.
That's a good point, because we haven't talked. We've been talking more internally about the operations at Walmart. We haven't really discussed your customers much. I'm interested. What kind of feedback have you gotten from your customers? Do you see an increased demand that your customers want to know about the sustainability of your operations, your products, the products that they're buying? What's sort of been the feedback you've gotten from those customers?
Yeah, customers want to know more and more about the products that they're buying. They want to trust the products and the retailers who are bringing them those great products. And so customers tell us they care a lot about the products they buy for their family. They want to know how they're made, who made them, were they sourced sustainably. And so we're working hard to be able to deliver that for customers. And one particular area that we certainly had feedback on from our customers is in our food space. They really want to know, especially in that category, how are we sourcing the food and how are we delivering it to them through our stores and websites.
And then my final question, Laura, is what advice would you have for other retailers that want to make their operations more sustainable?
I would say join in. This is a big challenge. It's one that we certainly can't do alone. We want to collaborate and share learnings with others. In fact, with Project Gigaton, we've launched a website that anybody can use to look at how they could get started on emissions programs across the 6 areas of pillars. And so we'll share that with others who are interested in it. But get started. This is a big area, but there's small steps that can be made to get started that'll then lead to larger steps. And collaborate. I think this is when we have to work together. So, we can make progress when we're all in this together and join in for the long term.
And I would imagine one doesn't need the resources of a company like Wal-Mart to get started. I would imagine, correct?
Yeah, that's exactly right. In fact, I'll give you the name of that website if you're interested. It's walmartsustainabilityhub.com, and you'll see on that in their energy section simple steps like moving to LED light bulbs, working on energy efficiency. It's a great way to get started. And anybody can make those simple steps. We can all do something, and it's great to have others join in.
Yep, that's great advice. So I want to take this opportunity to thank Laura Phillips of Wal-Mart for joining me today. Please check out our podcast channel page, mytotalretail.com/podcast for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher, but make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. Lastly, please follow us on Twitter at MyTotalRetail or on Facebook at facebook.com/MyTotalRetail. Thanks, and I look forward to you joining us on the next episode of Total Retail Talks.
This podcast has been sponsored by Synchrony Financial. What are you working forward to? Learn more at synchronyfinancial.com.